source. If you haven't, if you're wondering what the fuck I'm talking about, and you haven't watched The Matrix, that's like the first thing you need to do is you need to pause this, go on wherever you can find it, buy it if you need to, and download The Matrix or buy The Matrix and watch that first. It gives you a really good outline. You might be thinking all this is like kind of random, but if you watch this episode, which I hope you have, because otherwise this would probably be pretty boring and pretty random. This is what this guy is going to be talking about, man. And that's why I really tuned in at an hour and 30 minutes, because at this point I really started, like, my ears started tingling from just all the stuff. Like, for example, what I was talking about dimensions and frequency, like as far as moving up or moving down. He brings up Thoth or whatever, Thoth. It's Toth. And there's go on YouTube and look up TOTH Emerald Tablets, which is something that this guy brings up. It's essentially natural laws, or just the way that you should treat people, the way you should treat yourself and stuff like that. Like really old information, which is kind of similar to like certain aspects of the Bible. And Rag gets into this, and Joe asks about, what about like the Bible and stuff like that. And basically, as you'll learn through seeking the truth, you'll learn that, there's probably a whole bunch of good morals, gems of truth in there, just like in the Emerald Tablets that I'm 99% sure was before the Bible. I could Google it real quick, but I'm not going to, because I'll get distracted. But so there's these underlying reoccurring themes throughout the history of humans spiritually that seem to just kind of fall back to the golden rule. Treat other people the way you want to be treated, and try to do good things. Like, that's kind of as simple as it is, and it's so crazy and funny that we've gotten so far from it. And I think they kind of like basically say this, like, it's like Rag was talking about how it's like you shouldn't like really chastise someone or like get on their case about like, or he was saying it would be nice if the world could not chastise people like for what their religion was. Like, if there was a Jew and a Muslim, like, they should be able to just like be happy for each other that they're trying to connect to the source. And that's something that like you have to kind of go outside of religion to understand. Like, it's okay to be religious, but believe whatever the fuck you want anyways. Who am I to tell you? But like, if you want to understand what they're talking about, what I'm talking about, it's like you have to step outside of the circle of religion and into, I guess, spiritualism, and then look at the religion, and you'll see that many times these religions are talking about the exact same thing, the exact same characters throughout history. There's similarities, through Zeus, Jesus, I think it was Krishna. I think they were born on similar days and stuff like that. So my point is that the religions are talking about a similar thing, the source. And we as humans, if we can get past, the religion part and go straight to source, that would be ideal. And I think that's what Rag's talking about here, and I think that's what Joe's going to get talking about. Rag starts talking about like astrology, and I think it was called Ayurvedic astrology or something like that, a certain form where you need to know like the longitude and latitude of where you were born and stuff like that. So my personal beliefs on astrology is that there's, once again, it kind of ties into what we're talking about with like religion. There's some gems of truth, that we don't understand, but it's been like tainted by humans essentially. I don't believe in the whole horoscope shit, like daily horoscopes. I just think it's a little silly, and I think that a lot of it's probably for money or for just clicks, for ad revenue and shit like that. But there's got to be something to it, because there's a reason why it's still here today, and why it's been studied by astrologers for such a long time. There's got to be a reason why the pyramids or the Sphinx or whatever is lined up with, I think, is it the Sphinx that's the lion that's lined up with the constellation of Leo? Don't quote me on that, but the point is that it appears pretty evident that there's something to do with, the stars and humans. Is that more far-fetched to think than the moon having an effect on the tides, or the moon having an effect on, the word lunatic comes from, or the prefix luna is the moon, and it basically comes from like people going crazy when full moon and stuff like that. So, I don't know, man. It's just something to it. There's something to it, and there's just too many weird coincidences too. When I even think about my life and signs, and also once you get into life path numbers and numerology, it's just, I don't know. There's just some weird stuff. Weird patterns, I should say, weird patterns, and it's like we're maybe not designed to be able to understand, to comprehend the patterns, the meaning behind them, but we are designed to be able to see them if you so choose. Rag was like talking about how it's in criminals' charts, as to why they're criminals. So that's kind of why I set up the whole foundation for the whole karma thing, because I wanted to explain what he was going to be talking about and try to make sense of it in the best way that I can. Once again, I don't have the answers, but it's like I'm trying to theorize. So when he was talking about basically saying like criminals, it's in their charts that they're going to be like that, and people that do great things, it's in their charts that it's going to be like that, their astrology charts. He was saying that it was in Joe's chart to be in the place he is, which I will say I've actually heard this on another podcast, Sam Tripoli's Tinfoil Hat. Sam Tripoli is a Los Angeles comedian. And I think he has something to do with who goes up at the Comedy Store in LA. Him and Joe are friends. He's been on the podcast multiple times, but he had someone on his show that was talking about charts and astrology, and was talking about Joe's chart specifically, pointing to the time that he was born or whatever, and the numerology and stuff like that with when he was born had something to do with success. And see, okay, so one thing is like, it's hard to once again, it's like if you've never seen a zebra, then how can you believe it exists? But so like one thing is like, you can't take things so literally. Like, so I think the Capricorn, one of the things it says about that, I don't know if that's just specific to a certain year that I'm thinking of or not, but it was saying that it's like basically has like money, and like going to get money, I guess you should say, wealth. Now there are Capricorns that are not rich, and there are people that are not wealthy at all. Me myself, I'm not. What I'm saying? But what wealth can mean is not just money. And it's not also so direct. It's not necessarily like, oh, you're going to win the lottery and then be wealthy. No, it could mean that you're going to have a wealth of personality, and that allows you to be happy in life. And happiness is so valuable. When you think about how damaging stress is, and wouldn't that make someone wealthy if they were happy or content? And also, it's not like you can really put a number on it. It's not like wealth, if it's in your charts, it necessarily means $25 million. Like, wealth to one person, born in a certain area, might mean something different to another. So don't take it so literally. But like I said, grain of salt. If you are going to look at it, I don't look at like websites and shit like that. But I do have a book on astrology somewhere. Actually, no, I think I gave it to somebody. But yeah, it's interesting stuff, man. It's weird. One thing they bring up, and the Joe keeps bringing up, is Joe can't understand why people wouldn't want to be, say, reincarnated in the same life, because he said life is awesome. You know, he has great friends, he loves his life, and you're living it now. So if your memory was to be erased or whatever, and then you reincarnate in the same situation, if you're enjoying it now, then why would it be an issue? Did you have to come back until you get it right, if that was the case? Well, one thing I kind of thought kind of started a red flag, and I felt like I could kind of pick up vibes from Rag that he was feeling the same way. Is like, you know, and this is not a diss on Joe, but Joe obviously, despite whatever, and he has gone through struggles, because he talks about, you know, domestic abuse in his house and stuff when he was a kid, stuff like that. So of course he's gone through struggles, but where he's at now, of course he wouldn't mind going through those struggles. And then, you know, it's different for someone whose life is everyday hell. Of course they wouldn't want to, you know, the idea of having to come back and repeat their life, especially if they're not even trying, or if they don't know to try to do what's right and everything, you know. And does that mean, like, you know, oh, someone's watching you, you know, as far as like can't have sex? No, it doesn't mean you can't have sex. It just means, like, if you fucking drop a piece of trash, try to pick it up, or try not to fucking throw the trash out the window to begin with. You know what I'm saying? If you're one of those people, that's what doing the right thing. It's as simple as that. I mean, if you have to explain to someone what the right thing is, then, you know, oh boy. But just try to do more right than wrong. So it's like, yeah, Joe, of course you wouldn't mind, you know, coming back, because your life's awesome. But, you know, that's not how a lot of people's lives are. So of course they wouldn't want to come back and repeat it. All right, so I'd like to transition to something other than the karma thing, but like I said, it's a reoccurring theme here. But so he makes the comparison to life being kind of like in jail. Like, if you fuck up while you have a sentence, then you get, you know, additional time added on. It's kind of like, you can look at it like with life, where it's like, so going back to why do bad things happen to good people? Well, it's like, you first of all don't know what happened before you came here, because I don't know what happened before I came here. But it's like, with that energy that you're given, how are you going to handle it? Now, I'm taking a second to think here, because I'm sitting here thinking about people that are like starving or in war-torn countries. I'm trying to rationalize, trying to come up in my head with, why would a soul, essentially an innocent soul, be born into that situation? That's one, assuming that they're innocent, though. I don't know. I don't know what happened. And if Einstein said that energy is neither created nor destroyed, that means it's transferred. So if Einstein said energy is neither created nor destroyed, and we are energy, our thoughts are energy, you know, then maybe it does accumulate, and maybe people that do fucked up things in the past, like maybe the really, really terrible barbarians in the past that weren't compassionate, are the people that are going through terrible shit now. I don't know. I really don't know. But what I do believe is that despite any of that, how you handle a situation is what liberates and empowers you. If you're dealt a shitty hand of cards, you know, but, you know, say if it's like you're, you know, not born in a cage, or not born, you know, blind without any limbs, or something where it's like you're still somewhat able, you know, if you're an able-bodied person and you're born with shitty cards, if you look at those shitty cards and you say, man, this life fucking sucks, you know, life sucks, I'm not going to put any effort into it, then that's not going to elevate you to having more likely chance of better luck or better karma, whether it be in this life or after. And that's the important thing to realize, is it's not all about afterlife. What you do in this life now affects your life now. So, once again, it's like, karma seeming to be like a real untangible